guys, happy Halloween. Alright, so I'll do this in order. Alright, last night on the Drunken Peasants they had fucking Dick Masterson, which is funny because of the whole Pod Awful thing, right? So somebody mentioned Joseph Martelli in a super chat or in a Streamlabs thing, and so they ended up telling Dick Masterson about Joseph Martelli, which was insane because that's like that's like leading to like a worlds colliding. That's like super worlds colliding right there, and they're gonna have fucking Maddox on too, so that's like really fucking nuts. So it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny that we live in a world where fucking Joseph Martelli is known by fucking Dick Masterson now. Of course, Dick will probably forget about it, but there was a moment where Dick Masterson knew about Joseph Martelli, and it'll still probably be there in his subconscious. I don't know. Maybe he'll remember it but it's kind of funny because Joseph made that video towards The Amazing Atheist, and I submitted it to the Drunken Peasants. Nobody else was really paying attention to Joseph at the time, so I'm probably the one who got it on the Drunken Peasants, who started this whole thing. But if Joseph hadn't made that video about TJ, then I would not have submitted it. It's kind of victim blaming in a little way, but he was the one. But then Joseph was the one who kept responding. If Joseph hadn't responded after the very first video, none of it would have happened. But it's kind of funny to me because I have kind of like this feeling of like, wow, a lot of this happened because of me, but Joseph, it takes two to tango, Joseph. If you didn't respond to people making videos about you, then they wouldn't be able to respond back, so I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah. And also that night was Pod Awful's Awful Ween, which was pretty funny. I affected that a little bit too in the pre-show. So that was pretty funny. So the other thing is Walmart. I've been banned from Walmart again. This time for like 6 months. For those of you who don't know, I was banned from Walmart because of Pod Awful, right? And it was somewhat of a valid reason, because I was taking candid photos of like 3 of the staff people who worked there, like consistently, like over like a year or 2, because I liked them. I thought they were pretty. I thought they were cute. I thought that they were nice people, and I just wanted photos of them because I liked them. I had a crush on this one particular woman who works there who's married. So what, so that was a valid reason. And then the 90 days was over, so I was able to go back because it was a non-criminal offense, right? Well, they've banned me again. Sorry, I got disconnected for some reason from my cell phone data. I've been banned for multiple different non-criminal offenses for taking fucking candids, but I wasn't posting any of them online at all. Apparently they figured out like how I do it, like standing in a certain way, holding my phone down by my leg but pointing it up slightly and shit like that. They figured it out. I was taking them just for my own personal enjoyment, and they charged me they charged me with violating rules of the store's policy or whatever like that, right? Which is not technically, it's a non-criminal offense, but it gives them the right to ban me, and they decided to do them not consecutive and or whatever it's called, one after each other, right? So I'm banned for 90 days, like 6 or 7 times, and they gave me a date when I can go back, but they're just gonna find another excuse to ban me again after that. So pretty much, Augusta Walmart is like, I'm fucked when it comes to Augusta Walmart for like forever, which is fine because I've actually been planning on moving out of state eventually, so that's just adding to my reasons to move out of state. But the funny thing is that Walmart is the only fucking place I'm banned from in town. It's the only place I've ever been banned from for any reason whatsoever besides the main state library. So it's the only food place that I'm banned from. And I'm banned from the main state library for taking candids. In fact, it actually ends like December something or other. I don't know. I don't even care. I'm not even gonna go back there. I don't have a reason to go back there. But see, the thing is that like I told people that I was banned from a whole bunch of other places by infoscoping them. Infoscoping is when you it's a CIA term. It's when the best way to explain it is when you release information to a very small amount of people that is incorrect in the hopes that they propagate it and make it seem legitimate. So what I would do is I would upload these videos that were meant for Patreon only, right? But I wouldn't upload them as unlisted. I would just upload them normally, right? So then, like, all these people who were subscribed to me would get a notification, right? And as soon as I got a notification, that's when I would set them as unlisted, and then put them on my Patreon. So people would go to my Patreon, and they would see, oh, he has a video on Patreon and a title, and the title is the same as the video that we've seen. You know, so they go, oh, this idiot doesn't know how to upload a video without, and have it be unlisted from the very get-go. He has to wait until it's uploaded and then change it to unlisted. But no, that's not true at all. See, I knew that people who were subscribed to me would get the notification, and that when I turned the video to unlisted, they would still be able to watch it. So the videos were not on my YouTube account. You would have had to receive the notification or the URL to the video to see it. So I would make all these videos where I get all pissy. I'm like, oh, I'm banned from Hannaford. Oh, I'm banned from Shaw's. Oh, I'm banned from such and such and such and such. But I wasn't banned from any of them. So because they seemed like they were behind, like I thought, they seemed like I was being more honest, like I was being honest because it was behind a paywall, that people just bought it. People just believed anything I said in those videos because they thought, oh, he's being really honest, he's being honest and not, lying or anything like that because it's behind a paywall. He thinks that he doesn't know that people are actually seeing this because he thinks that he thinks it's on Patreon, he thinks it's behind the paywall and shit like that. But see, the thing is that I knew people were watching it because, one, an unlisted video, if it's unlisted and you put it on Patreon and you don't have any fucking subscribers on Patreon, there's gonna be no views on it. There's gonna be 0 views on it. Well, maybe like 1 if you were to watch it yourself. So the fact that I had an unlisted video that had 130 fucking views on it, you know, that should have given it away. But then I started realizing that, they were going to realize that. So I was like, oh, somebody's hacking into my Patreon, you know. So it was pretty fucking funny. But yeah, I mean, I distributed false information pretty successfully doing that. And they bought it. They bought it fucking hook, line, and sinker because they thought it was behind a fucking paywall. But it wasn't. I knew that they were fucking watching the videos. I'm not an idiot. I know how to fucking post a video and have it be unlisted. So I upload videos all the time as unlisted, and they get posted, and then there's never any views on them because they're unlisted, right? And then once I start sharing the link with people, that's when they start getting views. So I'm not a fucking idiot. If I wanted to post something to Patreon and have nobody see it, I would have done that. In fact, me having Patreon at all has absolutely nothing to do with me wanting money. I pay people money on Patreon. To get access to like the Drunken Peasants private, episodes and shit like that. So I don't want money from anybody. It had nothing to do with that. I was like, oh, okay, this is an opportunity to have a platform that looks like I'm trying to do one thing when I'm not, So putting the videos on Patreon made it look like I was trying to distribute secrets to people who liked me when people who like me weren't even willing to donate to me. So they thought I was banned from like all these fucking stores when I wasn't. And so it was pretty fucking funny. I mean, so right now the only places I'm banned from are Walmart and the library behind me. I was banned from the other library, but that was only for like 90 days. And the cop flat out told me that if I went back there again, I'd probably just be banned within a couple of days anyways. So I haven't even bothered going back. The what's it called? The fucking whatever, the Lithgow Public Library. But they've disliked me since like 2007 because I used to live on Summer Street, which is right near them, and they got my paper thing. They got when I lived on Summer Street. They were within the circle around my house where they got the paperwork. They got the flyer saying, "Oh, fucking Robert Robinson, so scary. Be afraid." So yeah, it's pretty fucking. They were looking for a reason to ban me from there for a long time, and so pretty much I don't even care to go there. There's no reason to go there. Nobody interesting even goes there. Everybody goes to the main state library because that's the cool place, and and the people who do go there, it's like people from like the soup kitchen and shit like that. People who I don't want to fucking hang out with, other sex offenders. I don't want to I know some of you are watching because I've had I'm like one of the most popular sex offenders in town, which is that's a weird fucking title. Like most of the sex offenders in town love me. Richard and all those other people, they think I'm fucking hilarious because I don't give a shit about what I say most of the time. Like I'll tell people off. I'll start trouble. I'll get guys who were in prison for murder, yelling and screaming at me at the bus stop. It's fucking hilarious. I'm like the ultimate. I'm like a real life troll. If I get murdered, I, whatever, whatever. I don't want to live anyways, you know. So, I mean, it would be better if I got murdered because I got, you know, there's money that will go to people when I die, you know, especially if I get murdered. So, like, you know, I'm not making myself get murdered. If somebody chooses to murder me, then you know, that's on them. But it's pretty fucking hilarious. Um, so I don't know, but yeah, I don't feel the need to be like one of these dudes who hangs out with guys who they would have hung out with if they were still in fucking prison. You know, it's the real world. Why would you hang out with dudes that you would be sharing a fucking cell block with if you were in jail? It's like if it's like, why are we hanging out? Like like I'm uncomfortable being around you because I know what you did, and you're uncomfortable being around me because you know what I did. But you like me, and you know what you did is a lot worse than what I did. So, you know, and shit like that. You know, because people are uncomfortable. Other sex offenders are uncomfortable being around me because they don't see me, they see my crime as something stupid, so they think that I'm more likely to be treated differently, or you know, possibly like rat on them because they're more dangerous than me and shit like that. And it's true. Like if like I've called the cops on people who I've known. I mean, like, there was a dude who I was friends with who was like literally, you know, hanging out with somebody who was way underage, and I fucking reported him because that's the fucking right thing to do. I'm not a fucking piece of shit. If I was doing something illegal and one of them called the cops on me, I would completely fucking understand. In fact, like I'll report crap that I see online that it's not good. That's not good. Like, people have a tendency of like thinking that because I'm a sex offender that they can like confide their pedo secrets in me and shit like that. No, don't fucking do that. I don't want to be friends with people who are, you know, fucking their daughters and shit like that. You know, I've had people who anonymously try to talk to me about how they're molesting their kids and shit like that, and because it's anonymous, I can't fucking report them. I just fucking block them and shit like that. You know, I mean, in fact, in the past, I've actually actively spoke up against people acting upon their feelings. You know, in like IRC chat rooms and shit like that. You know, so it's fucking ridiculous. Don't do shit to people who, if they don't want shit, if they don't want it, if don't victimize people. I mean, like, that's stupid. Like, I shouldn't have to say that. If somebody doesn't want to have fucking sex with you, or they're too young to understand that, like if they're under fucking 16, then, you know, they're too stupid to understand the long-term consequences of what they're doing. And I say that in understanding that, like, how that kind of makes me sound, right? See, yeah, right, she, like, my ex, who I have a kid with, yeah, she did lie to me, right? But it's not her fault. She didn't understand the consequences of fucking lying to me. Like, I understand that. I just, like, it's different. You know? Like, she understands it now. She's never felt like a victim. Because she isn't. She was just a dumb kid who said something stupid, who did something stupid, right? And she understands that that's on her. She did something stupid, and but she didn't understand what she was doing was stupid. You know, it it doesn't make sense. But in the moment, it wasn't her fault, right? But now she realizes that she wasn't a victim because she was the one stupid enough to not understand the long term whatever, you know. But at the time, yeah, you know, she kind of was, because I should have been responsible enough to figure out what was actually going on. Like, she should have not have been able to get away with lying to me. That's what I'm getting at. Like, it doesn't matter that she lied to me. I should have been able to, you know, use my Columbo-like research skills to find out more about her, right? But I was lazy about it. I asked like 4 or 5 people on her MySpace how old she was, and they all, you know, it took, like, I didn't hear back from any of them for like a whole fucking day, you know? So obviously, all the people who I asked just went and asked her what to say to me, you know? Something. I that's what I figure happened. I've never really brought that up because it's stupid to bring up. Me and her never really talk about that because it's pointless, because we can't change any of it. But she wishes that she didn't lie, and I wish she didn't lie. But then also it causes this weird thing, because if it didn't happen, our daughter wouldn't exist. So it causes this weird kind of like weird fourth dimensional kind of thinking, you know, like, well, do we regret it? Should we regret it? Because good things came out of it, you know? So, like, people don't understand that. Like, it's a fourth dimensional riddle, you know? Like, if I could go back, like, people are like, oh, well, if you could go back in time, would you stop your sex events from happening? And I have to honestly say no, because I have a fucking daughter, you know? So, and that makes me sound bad, because then people are like, oh, well, you wouldn't go back in time and stop yourself from having sex with a child? And so then I'm like, no, because I have a daughter. I have a daughter because of it. So then of course they have this cognitive issue with, oh, well, he obviously doesn't regret what he did. So it's fucking ridiculous, because yeah, part of me regrets it, because it's, you know, it's you know, even though morality is subjective, it's against you know, it it's a bad thing for adults to be fucking kids, you know. I mean, I think pretty much even somebody who's like a complete moral objectionist would agree to that, you know. But it's one of those things where, like, thinking in a fourth dimensional way, the at what was wrong, what was bad about it. What's bad about it only is bad at the current moment, right? It's one of those weird things where, is anything actually bad? Because the causality of actions lead to good things. Everything leads to a good thing eventually. Like, somebody being murdered eventually leads to somebody dangerous being locked up. So, in the fourth dimensional kind of thinking of it, that person being murdered, is it really bad? Because you know, who else could have been murdered because of that person, you know? Because of that person who murdered the person, you know? Like, if it wasn't him, it could have been somebody else. It could have been somebody more important or something like that, you know? Oh, it's really windy. So, you know, I mean, everything is causal, you know? It's like, yeah, is what I did bad? Yeah, it's bad. But did something good come from it? Yes. So, does that good thing that came from the bad thing, like, make the bad thing that happened good? And it's yes, because my daughter is something special. You know, of course I'm gonna say that. She's my daughter. You know, so like the circumstances of her birth are bad, but it happened. There's no way of changing it, and the fact is that I wouldn't change it even if I could. Like I already said that. I'm kind of freewheeling now, to use one of my mom's terms. Google it. So I don't know, man. It's like people don't thinking about long-term consequences isn't the only thing. You have to think about causal, fourth-dimensional things. You know, like what will happen in the future because of what you're doing now. And if it's like the killing Hitler thing, you know, if you went back in time and you fucking killed Hitler, uh, there would have been there's a possibility there would have been no Nazi party. But the fact is that you know he was elected to a position that was already being created, so you know there would have just been somebody else in that position. But uh, or he elected himself to that, or whatever. The point is then also, oh, well, there's no Nazis and no like how would Germany be different, you know uh, what the like the Nazis and fighting against like communism. What would communism be like nowadays if without the fight, without without the, like National Socialism fighting against like Marxism? What would Marxism be like now? And what would Germany was having a hard time. They were their economy like really sucked. How would they have recovered? Would Germany have fallen on such hard times that they would have had to break up Germany and you know have the surrounding countries annex parts of Germany to to keep the country, to keep the land from becoming a wasteland, and shit like that. Would some other country have marched in and would the communists have gone and taken over Germany? you know it's like people don't think fourth dimensionally about things, and I do. So when I'm like I mostly don't regret my crimes, it's because I'm able to think about the every aspect of what's happened since then. And it's really sucky, but my life now comparatively is in a lot of ways a lot better than it was before. So I mean, people are like, oh, but you're a sex offender and blah blah blah. Yeah, most people who are sex offenders don't have podcasts, going after them, and don't have, Joseph Martelli's going after them and shit like that. Um, Most sex offenders just kind of bleed into obscurity. So, I mean, I'm different. I'm different, you know. So, um, being a sex offender is nothing for other people. I mean, it's just a little stain on your fucking job application, man. Most places hire people anyways. They don't give a fucking shit. So, I mean, the fact that there are people who serve 15 years in jail for murder and then get out and are just like some random asshole at a bus stop who starts shit with you because their fucking stupid ass girlfriends don't know how to shut their fucking mouths. You know, I'd be more concerned with that guy, because that guy has has nothing to keep him accountable. He's just out and about, and the fact the thing about guys like that is like they'll go from like 0 to 1,000 in like a fucking second. There are always these guys who are like, "Oh, motherfucker, I'll kill you. I was in prison." You know? Do sex offenders act like that? No, they don't. They're quiet. they're cucked. Most of them are cucked. You know? So, and it's that system of being labeled and listed and shit like that that cucks them, right? But these people who are out there for murder and shit, who were in jail for like murder and drugs and shit like that, they're out and about and they still have the same mentality because they're not being watched as heavily as everybody as like a sex offender and shit like that. So if they had like if like people who were murderers who went to prison for murder had to be on like a public fucking website, those guys would probably be a lot cooler, a lot, they would be they probably wouldn't be snapping off at people at bus stops and shit like that. By the way, I know who that fucking guy is. It took like 20 fucking minutes for me to find him. The guy who threatened me at the bus stop, who I have photos of on my Twitter. In our streets, there's killers in our streets. Another stolen pot awful joke. Like when is he gonna realize I like being a goon? I like being a fucking goon. So I don't know. And he's close to launching World War IV on me. I think I'll be the first guest, the first goon ever to have World War IV on them, and it's probably gonna. It will probably be by Monday. Trust me. By Monday, he's gonna declare World War IV on me. I swear to fucking God. And that's probably all I should fucking say about it. If not by Monday, maybe mid-March. Because I'm going back to New York in March. I'm going back to New York March 15th of 2018. I already have the ticket bought. You can buy tickets that far in advance. It only cost me $55. $50 for the ticket, $5 for like the whatever service charge bullshit. So, anyways, I've been talking for like a half an hour, like a crazy Joseph Martelli, and I'm sure that he's gonna make. I'm sure that he's already made a video today about me, but I've just been busy watching podcasts and shit all day that I haven't even looked. But anyways, arthritis in my hands. I want those those crackers with the peanut butter in the center. So I'm going to the dollar store. Anyways, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, I got a birthday present for you. Jesse Powell Strap.